Welcome, guys. This is another episode of How We Made It. I am Tom Martin of Let It Fly Media, our Director of Brand Strategy. We have one of our kick-ass content creators, Dakota German, with us today. He is a motion graphics and animations wizard. So we have a couple videos to break down for you for a client, BacklotCars, one of our favorite clients. And we're going to show you some things that we can do during the COVID-19 pandemic where we didn't have to go shoot somewhere, but our animations and motion graphics told the story. Here is the first video. It's a seller app release. We'll break it down after this. All right, Dak, so let me just explain Backlot to people real quick. This is a company based in Kansas City, just like us, who they're taking wholesale auto and putting it online. So let's say that someone brings a car to your lot, you're a dealer, you want to get rid of it. It used to be you have to go to this auction and wait in line and have people make bids. Now it's all done from your computer. And Backlot's awesome because we are on retainer with them. We do hourly work for them. And these are two videos. This is the first we just showed you that basically doesn't exist unless we have that retainer option. And during COVID, we really couldn't do something where we went out for a new shoot. So this is something to help promote the launch of their new seller app. And sellers have been used to using their desktop, and they've been doing some mobile work before, but this is gonna make a very seamless transition for them to be able to use their phones more and more. So how did this come about? Those are my hands, by the way. So how do we go about trying to marry the animations on this to shooting me holding the phone?
Well, everything always starts with a script, if possible, which for this one we had a script.
Nice.
Which is super awesome for me.
That's a plus for us.
Always helps to have a script, but not always necessary. Sometimes I can just go off an idea, or if I just get like a general concept, you know, I can just go and then we can go from there. For this one we had a script. Me and you just sat down and kind of planned everything out, drew up a storyboard. Don't need to see that there though. And then we went to the studio, so we shot all our footage first. So that was with you actually messing with the phone. And this is actually all a recreated screen that I had to make. Your footage was actually you just kind of gesturing at the iPhone.
Yeah, what we had to do is Dak off screen to the right is holding the screen recording of using the app, and I had to pretty much mimic the motions. You know, I had to use my finger to scroll and press buttons at the right time. It took a little bit of finagling, but I think we did it pretty well. So trying to marry those two, what was so tough about going into that, making that happen?
The real pain that I ran into was tracking the phone screen around your hand.
Okay.
Tracking stuff is like
I have big hands, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, well.
The Combine would like me.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been a lot easier to like kind of keep your hand like smaller if you could see what you were doing on the screen probably, but tracking is just always like a pretty necessary effect in a lot of the videos we do. We always do like some kind of replacement or like color correction. You track stuff sometimes, but tracking around stuff gets to be a pain. So if we look at what I had to do, this is like my base comp where I just had to like track stuff. Multiple nulls, I'll turn my key off. So we just put like tracking points on the screen. And the problem was when your hand would cover those. So I couldn't use those tracking points. So I had to like just kind of guess a little bit.
You guessed well, because it, again, to me it looks seamless, but you know, in the edit bay, you're fighting through it, but you got through it.
Yeah, no, I got through it. The final track turned out almost perfect. I doubt anyone's really going to call out like the failed track on part of it. Just chalk it up to motion blur, man.
Yes, that's how you fight it.
Yeah, but rebuilding the app, had to do that a little bit. Had to replace some numbers. Let's go to that.
And I'll just say real quick, so some of the text you see in the video too, Backlot has some great people, Nathan Sterner, Nicole, Nick Johnson, Nicole Hagel. I'm tossing out last names too. They are part of the marketing team, and they make sure that we work with them on the concept, the text, what we want to sell. It's nice because we know them. So we know already going in, hey, we want to emphasize the arrow motion that you just saw. Hey, we want to emphasize these certain terms. So shout out to them for sure. So going next with what you wanted to show, what do you got there?
So after I kind of got all the tracking done, because I knew that was going to take me probably the most time overall, just tracking 40 seconds of your hand took me multiple hours, which freaking sucks.
Sorry.
But no, it's all good. It's just part of it. Like everything takes longer than what anyone thinks.
Yeah. Honestly,
always.
Motion graphics to me and animations just comes down to effort if I'm looking from afar.
Yeah. I mean, like the general rule I always heard was like about a minute of editing is usually 30 minutes to an hour if you're pretty fast, depending on how intensive the video is. Obviously, that's not, you can't just cut it off and say everything's like that. But like animation is almost always twice as long because there's just so many smaller little things you got to pay attention to. Like it's always down to details and like, again, like you said, how much effort you want to put into it. But after I got done tracking your hand, I just went to work on some of the other animations, which is a lot easier, like just animating text. We grabbed their font. They really want to use like Mark Pro, which is a really cool font. It's really clean. I just changed the font styles a little bit just to like emphasize some words. We did a website screen capture, always super easy. Actually, this is a pretty simple one, but it was just up for like a few seconds. So we just wanted to show that, yeah, we're going from your website into this new mobile version. Rebuilt the app, did some stuff here. We actually replaced all the numbers on this. So we did a screen recording, but then it ended up being like too low res once we full screened it. So I basically had to just rebuild the entire app. Yeah. Which is not a hard thing. It's just like, you got to do it.
So the entire goal was kind of tell a story of you're transitioning from something you're used to something else that's going to make it even easier for you. How can you most easily associate with what you're about to start using? So that's why we felt like, we didn't want to show maybe them uploading a car or doing something like that. We wanted to take something that was familiar, the desktop version, and put it on the phone.
It was really just like a lot of keyframes. You got to build a lot of stuff and rebuild websites. I've done a lot of that before. But I think just overall, my favorite thing about it is just like, it really sticks to what BacklotCars is, which is like, it's simple, it's quick, and like, honestly, I feel like the message just lands right on the target.
From a marketing standpoint, this is something that they're going to include to sellers in emails. They're going to pretty much, when they launch this app, and I guess it's already out when you're going to be seeing this, they will make sure that this is accompanying that announcement, which we like to use those videos. Some videos we do for proposals, some we do for launches, and this is a very good way of using that. And then speaking of effort, this is something that required a lot of effort for you, but for a good cause. So Backlot, we mentioned a second video. This is something where we wanted to show off their reach. We wanted to show that as you cannot go to physical auctions during the pandemic and the height of it, Backlot's an option for you, and not just because of the pandemic, but because they're just so legit. So we built this this map animation and wanted to use a lot of testimonials that we've shot across the country. This is a benefit of being a retainer client. We have all this stuff we've already shot. This is repurposing it for this video, which gives you different perspectives on why Backlot works for these guys, why they don't go to auctions anymore, or at least rarely. We love using the arrow for Backlot branding, but most importantly, Dak, we asked you to do something that was little insane. You had to put down every single one of those dots to show Backlot's reach.
Yeah, my mind is still kind of numb thinking about it, to be honest, man. Like, in animation, like, I'm always telling myself there's an easier way than to do something than the way I'm doing. Like, I just got to look for it and figure it out. But for this, there wasn't an easier way. So Backlot has a lot of locations, which is really good, because like, COVID has not slowed them down at all. But,
and if you pull this up real quick, with all of the dots, that might be what, 1/30th of the actual amount of locations they have. But we didn't want to just fill the whole thing with dots.
Yeah, like that Excel sheet was like 15K sellers or something like that.
Good for Backlot. Good for them.
Yeah. I pretty much got it down where I was just like, all right, I'm going to get a general amount in the state that has all these. So, yeah, unfortunately, the only way to really make all those dots appear correctly was to place them all by hand, one by one. no way to simulate it. I dropped like a map of the US down as just to like show me where it was.
Scroll down through this composition. These are all the dots you put down, right?
This number right here is the number of layers that I have.
Oh my goodness.
So going down.
437.
Yeah, I started off naming some of these, and then I was just like, yeah, this is just random.
What are you doing? Come on, just get through it.
Yeah, I was just like, man, I just gotta get kind of close. Which honestly, some of those city locations are pretty close. But
yeah, no, I think you did a great job because again, if that map's going to be up for all of maybe 6-7 seconds, I guess a bit longer because we have that text. But
yeah,
you don't want to go too overcomplicated. This shows, hey, they're everywhere. They're spacious. And I think it got the point across really well.
I think
you just
so
had
too.
to work a lot.
Yeah, it was just one of those tasks. You just got to get through it.
Well, Dak, appreciate your time. Shout out to Backlot, by the way, just because we love working with them. And again, this is something that does not happen unless they're on retainer and we're able to go back and kind of repurpose stuff.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
All right, Dak, thanks for your time, man.
Yeah, thanks.